the reason why you're here is we're going to go through a training on how to find and permanently remove the limiting beliefs that sabotage your success. And before I start, I just want to say, if you've been on online trainings before, or you've gone to seminars, or you've read books, or you've watched YouTube video after YouTube video, and you've gone on Instagram and you've done all this stuff for personal development, and you're finding yourself frustrated because you are not getting the change that you want to get. You're not seeing the transformation. And what's happening is you're having to go every single day to look at stuff, to get motivated. But when you look at your life long term, nothing has shifted. And I'm here to let you know that it's not your fault. Out there in personal development, there's a misunderstanding on how true permanent transformation happens. And there's not many people teaching it out there. And I'll tell you why. Because this type of transformation takes effort. It takes discipline, it takes effort, and that's not really great for a marketing message. So I'd rather just put out, think a certain way, feel a certain way, and everything will come into your life because it sounds so easy, people buy into it. But what today's about is about techniques and strategies that actually are proven to make change in your life. So if that is you, if you are ready to make a change in your life, then you are in the right place. Okay, so let's get going. I first want you to commit to something for me, because I know we live in a world of distraction. We have cell phones, we have social media open, we have WhatsApp. Just commit this time to yourself. We're going to be together for about 60 minutes. I'm going to go quite quickly. Have a pen and paper ready, because if something speaks to you, write it down. But I will be moving quickly, and I don't want you to miss anything. So make a decision in your own mind now that you're going to commit for the next little bit of time to listen to what I have to say and to make notes around things that speak to you. Because what I promise you is that this is going to be part of my mission, which is to help as many people as possible find their purpose, break through the limitations that are in their mind, and follow their dream. Even if you're not sure what your dream is right now, that's okay. Even if you have no idea, even if it's a little bit fuzzy, that's okay. But this became my mission because I was really blessed to come into contact with somebody who mentored me. And you'll hear about him a little bit later, but it was through him that I was able to break through years and years of frustration, for the first time in my life, actually see transformation in my own life. So if you're asking yourself, is this training for me? Let's find out if you're in the right place. So if you were like me and stress is a big part of your life, you deal a lot with anxiousness. Sometimes it leads to high levels of anxiety. Other times it's just this background level of angst. That was me. I was never really fully calm. I was never really fully present. There was this background tension, and I always felt like I was on a hamster wheel, and I often got overwhelmed. And when I got overwhelmed, I would get stuck. I would be paralyzed by fear. Has anybody out there feel the same way? Has anybody out there ever doubted yourself? You doubt that you have what it takes. You doubt the decisions that you make. You doubt if you're really on the right path. You don't have that confidence. You don't have that certainty. And you know that something is holding you back from taking action. So everybody that's on this call, I want you to know, if you have this intuitive feeling that there is more for you, you're not really sure of what that is, but you know that there is more for you, but you know that something is holding you back mentally, and it's stopping you from either taking that first step or taking the consistent steps that you need to take, then you're in the right place. Also, if you would like a clear dream, if you want to define what your dream is, and remember, your dream doesn't have to be this massive thing. It can be small, but if you want to really define what it is that you want, if you want to live a life of purpose, where you are purpose driven and you define goals that drive you, If you'd like to wake up every day and have set goals that drive you and push you forward, and if you want to develop the courage that it takes to not only take the first step, but to go along this journey to creating the life that you really want, then this training is for you. I see there's a lot of people talking, I have a problem with consistency. Yes, I am stuck. I'm questioning my purpose. These are all the things that I have had personal experience with, and I want to let you know you are not alone. There are going to be many people on this call that are in the same place, and I also want you to know that there is a solution to this, and I'm so excited to be sharing this with you. The promise I make is that throughout this webinar, you're going to learn the first steps to breaking through the limitations that you have. And for those that find yourself procrastinating, for those that don't seem to want to take action or can't take action, if you're fearful of taking action, I'm going to teach you concepts and principles that can shift things for you so that you can create not only the life that you want, but the life that you deserve. One of the great quotes I love is from Steve Jobs, and I'm probably going to say it wrong, but he says that our purpose is to make a dent in the universe. Our purpose is to come here and use our unique set of skills and make an impact. And if not, why are we even here? But we don't have confidence in ourselves. And I see Bernice says that. And that's okay. But I want to let you know that this is going to be the first step. This training, if you are ready, this training is going to be the first step that you're going to take to start creating the life that you really want. Okay, so this is the plan. The training tonight is going to be into two parts. Part one is I'm going to talk about a concept called mindset rewiring. Some of you might be asking, what is that? And in the comments column, tell me, has anyone heard of that? Does anyone have any idea of what mindset rewiring is? We'll talk about the foundation of what mindset rewiring is, and then I'll talk about the process. What does that mean practically to us? And then as an example of the mindset rewiring process, what I said I would do in this particular webinar is I would give you one of my practical strategies that I use for limiting beliefs. So it's a two-step process I use of finding and removing the unconscious limiting beliefs that sabotage our success. Okay, so that's part one. Then part two, we're going to talk about mindset mastery. These are the 3 steps that I use for permanent transformation. This is for people that want to go a little bit deeper and are looking for a shift. They're looking for outer success and inner fulfillment at the same time. If you want to conquer your fears, if you want to actually unleash the potential that is inside of you, that you intuitively know is there, if you want to learn how to do that, we're going to go through that in Mindset Mastery at the end. Okay, so is everybody excited to start? Mindset Wiring, similar to BWRT. Yes, there are similarities. By the end of the webinar, you'll know what it is. So at the end of the webinar, I'll also let you know of how you can possibly work for me. If some of this knowledge makes sense to you, if the concepts that I teach make sense to you, if you believe that I can give you value, I'll teach you how you can work with me, and how you can take full control of your mind and define and achieve your goals and your dream. Okay, so tell me why you are here. I want to make sure that I give as much value as possible. So in the comments column, please tell me, what would you like to get out of this? What are your pain points? What is your struggle? What made you come onto this webinar? I see TJ from Loniel says, I have to believe in myself, not the system. Yeah, so you want to believe in yourself. Catherine says low self-esteem. So common. What else have we got? Yes, looking forward. Yes, I like that. Anything else? Why are you here? What would you like to get out of this? For me, when I started my journey, I felt as if I had this glass ceiling above my head. And no matter what I did, I could not break through it. I see Eugene says anxiety and burnout wreaking havoc with my health. I'm in sales and struggling, so that'll be a confidence thing. Okay, so you guys are really in the right place, and I feel you. I've dealt with many of the things you're talking about. I want to be more positive. We'll talk about negativity in a bit. I know what I want to do, but I get distracted all the time and I don't know why. I'm going to teach you why that is happening, and I'm going to give you the solution. Permanently anxious, hypervigilant, can't breathe, need to learn how to relax. Okay, not sure of my purpose, not having an idea to change, following my dream and actually following through. Guys, I'm so excited for you because everything you have mentioned is what we're going to be discussing today. Catherine says negative about SA, battling with my relationships, constant procrastination, keeps going. And let me tell you my story first. I'm not sure if anybody has seen my story on Facebook. A lot of people have. A lot of people have sent me messages about it. But who has heard of me? Let's start there. Has anybody heard of me? Has anybody seen me on some type of social media? Has anybody seen me speak in public? But to give you a really short background of me, I qualified as a doctor of chiropractic in 2006. And then I went straight to the UK. And there I had a practice there, a relatively successful one, and then I specialized in lifestyle coaching. So what that meant was I helped people how to eat, how to move, and how to think. So it was a very holistic model of how to get people to express more of themselves. And with my background in chiropractic, I became very, very interested in the mind-body connection and how the mind affects the body, how the body affects the mind. And I was always interested in human performance. And then I came back to South Africa and I opened a practice in Sea Point in Cape Town. And I became a corporate speaker. So I would go into corporates and I would do workshops and talks on different things, generally either around spinal health, the brain, or how to eat, how to move, how to think. And then I was very lucky. I was on TV a couple of times. I was on Espresso. I was on News 24. I've been featured in some magazines as well. And I've spoken at all these companies here. So from the outside, things look good. I looked pretty successful from the outside. I was doing okay, especially if I compared myself with other people. But internally, things were not the same. I had this constant background of stress, constant background of tension. And the best way to describe it was I felt like I was on this never-ending hamster wheel. And I was big into personal development, so I was reading books all the time. I was on YouTube, I was on all the social media platforms, and I would watch things over and over again because there was something telling me that you need a breakthrough. And I would watch this stuff and I would be temporarily motivated. But then a day or 2 or 3 later, I was right back in the same place where I started. And I call myself the what if guy because my brain was wired in a way that I was always concerned about something. I was always anxious about something. What if this happens? What if that happens? I was never present. Because wherever I was, whether I was at work or whether I was with my family, I was always worried about something that could happen in the future, or I was thinking about something that had happened in the past. So I was never present. And I got to a point in my life where I said to myself, is it going to be like this forever? Because these personal development programs are helping short term. They're not shifting everything. But all I want is some peace. Is there anybody there that connects with this, that you just want peace? But at the same time, you also know that you have the ability to do more. I had some external success, but I knew something was holding me back. I knew that there was something that was blocking me. I use the analogy of a glass ceiling. I knew that I had a bigger purpose. Although what I was doing was great, I was having a lot of fun doing it, I knew it wasn't my true purpose. And I knew I had something more, but I was scared. And I'll be honest with you. I was scared. I was scared of failure. I was scared of rejection. I was scared of criticism. So what I would do is I would take action to a certain point, but as soon as it went past that comfort zone, the fear would creep in. And I would procrastinate, and I would lose motivation, and I would go into victim mode. Why is this happening to me? And I'd go into scarcity. What if this happens? What if that happens? So it was this constant push-pull of short-term trying to shift things, getting scared, and then getting drawn back. I see a lot of people are saying they can relate. What if? What if? And I thought that was just who I was. I thought that was my personality. So okay, I'm an anxious person. I'm a stressed person. I have an issue with my self-worth. I have an issue with my self-esteem. I knew I had an issue with money. I knew that I had an issue with my self-worth. I wasn't worthy of earning huge amounts of money. So therefore, I was fighting for it. I was hustling for it, but I wasn't worthy of it. I would constantly doubt myself. Am I doing the right thing? Should I do this or should I do that? Have I made the right decision? And then that procrastination would come. I would start. I was the type of guy, and you get different types of people. Some people struggle with starting. So they have fear of starting something new. And what happens is they just stay in the status quo. Now, I didn't really have that issue. I could start something, but my issue was staying with it. I would start something new and I would take it to a certain level. And as soon as it became a little bit uncomfortable, I would stop. I would give up. So when things really got bad, I was pretty good at taking action. But then it would come up to that plateau and I'd stay there. And the motivation would go. It looks like it's making sense because a lot of people are agreeing with me. And then the test came. This is when everything changed for me. And what I mean by a test is that it was a major, major challenge. I remember this as clear as day. I was walking out of my practice one day and I actually had the thought in my mind, Robbie, you've got I've got to take things to the next level now. And I don't know why it happened then, but I got a phone call from my accountant and she said, I need to see you right now. And I thought that was strange. Anyway, so I met with her and she said, we have found an issue with your accounting. And basically, we've been miscalculating your earnings, which means that you owe a lot more tax than you think. So I said, okay, well, that's not great. But anyway, what is it? And she told me the figure of what I owed. And it was all my savings. We had just renovated my practice. So we're probably living a little bit above our means as well. So things were tight. And it would have knocked out all the savings, all the money I put aside for tax. It would have shifted the overdraft all the way to the max. And then she said to me, well, I'm not done. The other issue is that you haven't been putting money aside enough. So what we have to do is we have to start putting more and more money aside every month because we need you to catch up. And so to make a long story short, in 24 hours, I went from being fairly financially stable, but still anxious and tense, to being in complete financial disaster and feeling super anxious and super tense. And I kept I told my family, but I kept some of the details away from them because I was trying to protect them. I wasn't sleeping. I was anxious. I was depressed. I felt like a complete failure. How could I let this happen? I'd delegated something so important to other people, but it was my responsibility. So things were tough. We had 2 young children. And when your life changes so quickly, when you've got 2 young children, it's really, really tough. And one day I was sitting in my lounge. It was really early in the morning. It was still dark outside. And I remember thinking to myself, I need a mentor. I need somebody that is going to help me get out of this because I can't do it myself. I need somebody who's further down the line than me that has the answers, and somebody that can not only fix what's going on here, but can guide me along what I need to do and can hold me accountable to doing it. And, I see there's some issues with sound. Is there anybody else that's having issues with sound? There's one or two people. Hopefully you can hear me. Sorry if you're having trouble technically. It looks okay on my side. So anyway, hopefully you guys can get back on. And as I carry on, it was a few days later that someone walked into my practice. And when this person walked into my practice, I could see that there was something different about them. His name was Michael. He was from Germany. And I knew he was a very, very successful entrepreneur. I knew that. And I had met many people like that before. But what was different about him is that he had something else to him. He had this confidence, this certainty, he had this calmness about him that I had never really seen on anybody else. I would work with people that were wealthy all the time, but very often they were more stressed and more tense and more unfulfilled than I was. But this guy was different. He had this like joy to him. And when he said that he was a coach, into mindset, I thought, this is crazy. I was just thinking about that. And now this guy's on my table. So I said to him, listen, we need to go for lunch. And we sat down and I told him my story. And he told me his story, and I couldn't believe what he was saying. I couldn't believe what the concepts he was teaching me. I couldn't believe who he had worked with, people at the highest level. And I couldn't believe that the person that would be perfect for me walked into my life like that. And I said, I don't care what it takes. I need you. I need you to work with me. And he kind of looked at me and he said, you know what, I've taken the year off, so I've got some time now, and why not? I'll work with you. But if we're going to do this, I need you to be disciplined. I need you to put in the effort. I need you to be committed. And here's my fee. This is going to be my fee. And, it was his mate's rate, because he usually worked with people way wealthier than I. But it was more than I could afford. I could not afford to pay this. And I sat there and I thought to myself, I can't believe this has happened. I've just found the perfect person, someone that I relate to, somebody that understands where I'm coming from. And now I can't afford it. And I tussled with it, and I spoke to my wife, and we went back and forth and back and forth. And then I said to myself, there's some point in your life that you need to just take action. You just need to have courage. That's the most important thing to living a fulfilled life, is to have courage to take that first step. And I thought to myself, I will do whatever it takes, because my life is going to change from today. I'm not procrastinating anymore. I'm not going to wait for next week or next year to get things going. I'm going to start today. Today is my day. And I walked into the office and I sat down with him and I said, let's start. And we started. And that's where my journey began. Let's go to the next slide. Over a period of time, he took me through some strategies and some principles, and got me to a point where I became crystal clear for the first time in my life what my purpose was. And when you become crystal clear on your purpose, it's a feeling that is difficult to describe. It's a feeling of this energy bursting inside of you. You no longer need external motivation. You're inspired from within. And I'd been searching for that my whole life. And for the first time, I connected with it. I also knew exactly what I wanted. Before that, I knew I had a dream, but my dream was very fuzzy. It was like, I kind of want this, but I'm not really sure. And he helped me get to a point where I was completely clear. There was no uncertainty, and it wasn't based on what other people think I should have. It wasn't based on what culture thinks I should have. It was based on me, the authentic me, what is truly my dream. He taught me how to break through the limitations in my mind. And I shattered that glass ceiling that had been above me for my entire life, and I suddenly came through it, and I realized that all of these limitations I had had for all of these years were just an illusion I had created in my own mind. And then I gained this courage to take step by step by step, all the steps I needed to take to start following this dream that I'd come. And for the first time, I knew what I wanted, and I had a toolkit and I had the skills to get me there. The tools I had was I could deal with anxiety, I could deal with that feeling of overwhelm, I could deal with panic, I could deal with negativity, I could deal with the scarcity. Because look, I still felt that, and I still today, there are times where I feel anxious, there are times where I feel overwhelmed, there are times that I feel panicky, still today. But now I had the tools to deal with it. So it's not that I don't feel these things, but I don't indulge with them. It's completely changed my ability to, my resilience, my resourcefulness. What I could do is I was given the skill set to go from stress to calm. I was given the skill set to go from scarcity to abundance, to go from negativity to optimism, to become resilient, to become resourceful. So when the challenges came, instead of pulling back in fear, I would just creatively look for solutions. And that self-doubt, I could control it. I could conquer it. There's still times today that sometimes I doubt myself, but I have these tools now where I can shift my perspective and I can break through. But what I will tell you is the biggest surprise to me was the changes it had outside of my business life. When I started working on my dream, I was working longer hours than ever before. I was putting myself out of the comfort zone. I was waking up early in the morning. I was working at night because I had this fire burning inside of me. And that means that, I was spending less time with my wife. I was spending less time with my children, because I had this purpose, and it was tough because I was trying to balance all these things. But what was incredible is that the connection in my marriage got deeper. The connection I had with my kids got deeper, even though I was spending less time with them. And that was because I was present. It was because I was my authentic self. And when you are present and when you are expressing your full authenticity, not only do you get transformed, but the people around you get transformed. I talk about in social settings. Before that, I would go into social settings and I had this mask on. It was like I was there and I was having a good time, but I wasn't completely comfortable. And if you know what I'm talking about, if you just don't feel comfortable in social settings, it's because we're wearing masks. We're scared to show our authentic selves. So over time, people started noticing. And people would come up to me, my staff came up to me and were like saying, you're different. I don't understand what's going on. You just seem so calm. What is it? What is it? Friends would come to me and say, you're different. What's going on? What's going on? And I started to realize that I'd come onto something. I'd been taught a secret that even after years of studying the personal development gurus, I did not know before. And now I knew it. And this is why I'm on this call. My purpose now is to teach as many people, the people that are willing to take that step, the people that are willing to change their life from today. My purpose is to guide them along that journey. So what I've become to understand is that the life you want, the business you want, the health you want, the relationships, it doesn't matter what your goals are. It's all based on your mindset first. Your mindset is the root of everything because your mind controls your actions and your actions control your results. So if you're having trouble with your results, if you're having trouble getting what you want, if you're having trouble defining your goals or going towards your goals, the problem is the mindset. Now, I've known this for years. In fact, I taught on this stuff. I was a speaker. I would teach the think well concept and I would talk about mindset, but I understood it, but I didn't own it yet. And what we're going to talk about tonight is about not just understanding concepts, but owning concepts. So this is what mindset rewiring is about. Okay, so I learned it the hard way. I learned it after reading all the books and trial and error and frustration and everything else. And I understood that understanding the concepts is not enough. So I want you to take this to mind. If you have struggled in the past, if you have, if you are like me and you've got a bookshelf with the personal development books, the Tony Robbins and the Deepak Chopras and the Eckhart Tolles, and you understand the importance of gratitude, you understand the importance of meditation, you know you should think better thoughts, you know you should feel better, you know you should choose your thoughts better, you know you should be authentic, you know all the stuff, but it hasn't shifted you. I want to let you know that it is not your fault. There is nothing wrong with you. You are not broken. You were like me, where understanding is not enough because there are patterns ingrained in your mind that have been there a long, long time. And unless you break those patterns and build up new ones, you will always go back to your default. And this is the most important concept I want you to know. If you do not identify and change the patterns that are causing you to sabotage yourself in the unconscious mind, you will never take the consistent action that you need because you were programmed. Now, what do I mean by that? If you look at our development between the ages of 0 and 7, that's when most of our brain connections are formed. In fact, more brain connections are made in those first 7 years than in the rest of your life combined. And at that stage between 0 and 7, think of your brain as like a tape recorder. It just takes everything in. So everything your brain hears, everything it sees, the people that are around you, what they say, it just gets taken in as fact. And it starts forming the framework of your mind. So what happens is during that time, we create these connections in our minds, and it's how we see the world. It creates our personal reality or our personality. So that's where the limitations come from. That's where the fears come from. That's where your level of self-worth comes from. And now we have these neural patterns that are sitting there that are firing a certain way, and we just believe it's who we are. And what it works like is like an air conditioner. You might think, what is an air conditioner got to do with the mind? Well, think about this. If you take an air conditioner and you set it to 22 degrees, what happens with that air conditioner? If the temperature goes too high, it clicks on and it brings you back to your set point, to your comfort level. If the temperature goes too low, the aircon turns off until the temperature comes back into that comfort level. This is exactly what goes on with the unconscious mind. It has a comfort level that has been programmed there when you were very young. And if you try to go out of it, it senses danger. To the unconscious mind, change is danger. So it senses danger and it sabotages you and it keeps you stuck. Okay, so if you procrastinate, if you lose motivation, if you have fear of failure, if you have fear of criticism, if you have fear of rejection, if you've got issues with low self-worth, that is that air conditioner rheostat that is sitting in the unconscious mind. And that is why reading all the books and going to all the seminars is not making a difference to you. It's not making a difference to you because there are patterns in the mind that are ingrained. They're hidden in the unconscious mind. Now, for those of you that don't understand what I mean by the unconscious mind, you need to know that there are two parts of the mind. The conscious, which is the one that you're aware of. That's where your logic is. That's where your intelligence lies. That's where your self-identity is. But it's only active about 5% of the time. Now you have another part of the mind called the unconscious mind. And what's important to understand is it's 1 million times more powerful than the conscious. So it's literally 1 million times more powerful than the conscious mind, and it's active 95% of the time. So why is this important? The unconscious mind runs the show. It's running your life. And all your fears and all your limitations and all those things that came into your mind are sitting there in the unconscious, and you're not even aware of them, and it's affecting your life now. So what happens is you go to a seminar, somebody teaches you something and you think it's amazing. You totally agree with it. You high-fiving people on the way out. You feel motivated. You walk outside. But the part of the brain that is running 95% of your life does not agree with it. So you forget about it, and a day, a week, a month later, your life is exactly the same. This is why you are stuck. It's not your fault. You are not broken. There's not something seriously wrong with you. You just have never been taught that there are neural connections that were formed in your mind when you were very young, most of them. And that unless you change those neural connections, you are fighting a losing battle. Because the question is, let's go back before I carry on, which one wins? If you have, let's look at it this way, if you've got the conscious and the unconscious, you've got a conscious intention. Your conscious intention is, I want to grow my business. I want to double my business in the next 12 months. That's your conscious intention. You want that. Why? Because you want the nice house and you want the nice car and you want the great life. But you have an unconscious counter intention. And that counter intention could be, I'm not worthy. Or what if I fail? Or what if I get rejected? What if I don't have what it takes? So you've got this conscious, I want this, and you've got this unconscious, no, I don't want this. Which one wins? The unconscious wins every single time. And that is why you are stuck, because you have things going on in the parts of the brain that you're not aware of, which are holding you back. And I've tried everything to solve this problem, and mindset rewiring works the best without a shadow of a doubt. This process of rewiring the mind, because it's simple. Anybody can understand it. A child can understand the processes that I teach. It's practical and it's actionable. What do I mean by that? It's not just a philosophy. It's not just an idea. It's something you can learn and take action tomorrow. It can be done at any age, any background. Doesn't matter what education background you have. It doesn't matter what age you are. It doesn't matter what industry you work in. It doesn't matter if you're male, female, single, married. It doesn't matter. It works the same for everybody. And it can be done without going through your past, not reliving your past over and over and over again. You don't have to do that. You can change these frameworks with certain principles and strategies without having to relive the trauma of your past. And it's a tool that can be used over and over again. So what happens is, if I look at my life now, I'm way down the road. I learned these things a long time ago. I still use them today because I'm now coming up against new challenges. New limiting beliefs are coming up. New fears are coming up, because as you go to a different level, new stuff comes up. This is why this stuff is not simple, not easy. It's simple, but it's not always easy, because as you go along this journey, new things come up. Every level has its devil. But when you've got these tools and you come up against a challenge, you just go back to the tool belt and then you use it. Now, with mindset rewiring, a lot of the work that we do is working on the unconscious mind. And if you put in the effort and if you put in the discipline, and that's all it takes, a little bit of effort and discipline, the unconscious mind starts changing and things start working automatically. And you start turning your weak points into strength. Imagine getting to a point where your procrastination turns into action. You know, your fear turns into certainty. Imagine taking those weak points and turning them into your strengths. And that is what is possible with this strategy that I'm teaching. Imagine having the most powerful part of your brain, the unconscious, working for you instead of against you 24/7, even while you're sleeping. You see, the unconscious mind doesn't go to sleep. It works all the time. And if we find these issues and we break them down and we rewire them using a system, now we have the most powerful processor that we know of in the universe. It's more powerful than any supercomputer. And we have it working for us automatically when we awake, when we sleep 24/7, 365. What does it take? Very simple. It takes repetition. We're going to talk about that tonight. It takes some intensity. The intensity is what makes the shift, and it takes accountability. What do I mean by accountability? The reason why it's not always easy for people is that it takes this repetition. And you've got to have somebody holding you accountable to make sure that you follow the process. Accountability is one of the most powerful things that you can have. And why it takes repetition is because the brain is moldable. Okay, what do I mean by that? There's a concept of neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity means that your brain can change. So if you're sitting there right now and you're saying, I'm middle-aged already. I've been feeling anxious and stressed and have had low self-worth and low self-confidence my entire life. How is it even possible? It is possible. We know from neuroscience now that at any age, you can change the wiring of your brain because of neuroplasticity. And very simple concept, there's something in neuroscience called Hebb's law, and it means that nerves that fire together begin to wire together. And what I mean by that, if you start activating certain pathways over and over again through repetition, they start to fire automatically on their own. This is why practice makes perfect. If you are a golfer and you start swinging your club, and you swing your club every single day, and you're consistent with it, and you put in the time, and you put in the effort into it, over a period of time, those nerve fibers start firing along that golf swing without you even thinking of it. And it's the exact same thing in the brain. When we use principles of mindset rewiring, and we choose the thoughts, the emotions that we want, and we do it over and over again, we can change the patterns. I once saw a slide showing this on video, which was unbelievable. You could actually see under a microscope 2 nerve fibers that were connected. So that's a pattern in the brain. And when they got the person to think a certain way over time, the pattern, the nerve fibers broke apart and made new connections. So you can break your habits in your mind and you can create new ones at any age, with any background. Okay, so why accountability was important, and this is also why you have struggled in the past. The unconscious mind hates change. So what I mean by that is, think about this. When we lived more naturally, if you suddenly changed the way you thought or you changed your habits, that was danger. If you suddenly woke up one day and you said to the elders in your village, I've decided I'm going to eat lions. Changing your habits is dangerous. So the unconscious mind hates change. So what happens is, when you go through this mindset rewiring process, this little voice in your head comes up and says, no, you don't have the time. You don't have the money for this. You don't have this, you're too busy for this stuff. The brain literally tries to self-sabotage you because it doesn't want to change. And that's where that accountability and that support comes in, because it's normal. It happens to everybody. It happens to me. It'll happen to anybody that goes through this mindset process, is that little voice in your head will come up. But once you show it who's boss, and you get that fear, but you do it anyway. You start showing the unconscious mind who's boss, and over a period of time, you start taking control over that, and that's where the accountability comes in. Okay, now, if you are somebody like me that found it very easy to feel anxious and found it very difficult to feel happy and calm, what's happening there is that your brain has had thoughts and feelings in a certain way for so long that that's how the brain is wired. Those neurons that fired together over your entire life have now wired together. So what I mean by that is, when your brain is wired in a certain way, it almost takes no energy to feel anxious, and it's difficult to feel happy. And that was me. It wouldn't take much. Something trivial would set off my anxiety. Something trivial. In fact, if there was nothing for me to feel anxious about, I would find something to feel anxious about. It was like I was addicted, and I was chemically addicted to the feeling of anxiety. Does that make sense to everyone? That your body is chemically addicted to the emotion of anxiety because you've been feeling that way for so long? Why that happens, that's me, I have no idea. Why that happens is you've thought away so long that the neurons have wired. Now let me ask you this. If that's happened for the last 20 years and you go to a seminar and a guru stands in the front and says, Nadia, you should feel grateful. You should chill out. You should just feel happier. You're going to say, yes, that sounds amazing. Thank you very much. You're going to walk out and the unconscious mind's going to click in and you're going to go straight back to your default and you're going to feel frustrated and you're going to feel like a failure. And I want you to know that it doesn't need to be this way. You can use those same principles to completely change your life. Now imagine getting to a point where it's easy for you to feel happy and successful, and it's difficult for you to feel anxious and stressed. Because that's where I am now, and that's where I know every single person on this call can get to. You can get to a point, and that's because I'm not special. The other people I've worked with are not special. They're normal human beings. We just understand how the brain works. And those people have made that decision and they've put in a little bit of time and they've put in a little bit of effort. And now they are completely transformed. And it's not witchcraft. It's just understanding how the brain works. Okay, so let's talk about beliefs. So we spoke about mindset rewiring. Now, beliefs is just one small part of this. But your beliefs are your emotionally held opinions of the world. So they're also patterns that are being ingrained in the mind. And your beliefs are your filters that you see the world through. And based on your beliefs, it will create that voice in your head and that controls your actions. Okay, so if you think about it, it's like we're walking around with filters on and we only see certain things at the expenses of others. So why this is so important is remember I said that your results are controlled by your actions. And now I'm saying that a lot of your actions are controlled by what beliefs you have. So you either have empowering beliefs. So if you have an empowering belief around something, you'll be confident and you'll take action. So say you have an empowering belief like, I find it easy to lose weight. Or I love the gym. Or I'm worthy of love. I'm worthy of success. I'm abundant. I attract money into my life. Depending on what that belief is, that'll give you certain confidence and then you'll take certain actions. If you've got a limiting belief, I'm not worthy of love. I'm not worthy of making money. I'm not worthy of feeling healthy and happy. I don't have the time to exercise. What if I fail? What if I'm rejected? If that's your limiting belief, that will create self-sabotage and inaction. So in the mindset rewiring process, beliefs is one of the pillars. And what I'm going to be teaching you today, some of the value I'm going to be giving you today is just in that one pillar, the limiting belief, I'm going to teach you one technique that I use to find them and then to remove them. Okay, so limiting beliefs. If you want to know if you have limiting beliefs, does any of this sound familiar? You make a lot of excuses. Yes, I would do that, but maybe you complain a lot. I used to do that. Maybe you get into cycles of negative thinking or habits. Maybe you have a fear of failure. Maybe you have a fear of criticism. A big one for me was fear of criticism. I think of this, one of my dreams, and I mean, this is actually part of it. One of my dreams is, this was a while ago, I wanted to start putting my content out on the internet because I thought, that's a great way of teaching people these things. But I had this limiting belief that what if people don't like it and what if they criticize me? What if I'm like, Yeah, Eugene says fear of the unknown. That was it. It's like, what if I put myself out there and nobody likes my stuff? What if people start writing on the internet and going, this guy's speaking a load of rubbish? What if my old school friends see me speaking on screen and going, what is this guy doing? That was a limiting belief. And what did it do? It stopped me from taking action for years. I should have been putting content out on the internet years ago. But I had this limiting belief, and it stopped me from taking action and self-sabotaged me. That's where procrastination comes from. Also, if you indulge in perfectionism, that is all limiting beliefs. Does it sound familiar to everyone? Yeah, Madeline says, I'm a master of making excuses. That's because you have limitations. Fear of the unknown is the big one. Fear of failure. Fear of success. Fear of change. So give me some more examples. What do you think are some of the most devastating limiting beliefs that you can have? Bernice, I see you having a lot of technical issues. I will send you a replay. Don't worry about it. I will make sure that you see it. So what are some of the most devastating limiting beliefs that you yourself have? Because I'll tell you, while you think of that, I'll tell you what I had. First one was, what if I fail? That it was the biggest one for me. That fear of the unknown. But what if I fail? What if I'm rejected? Now, what if I do this and somebody rejects me? Or I'm not worthy? Or I'm too old? Or I'm too young? Or I'm not clever enough? Or the economy is too bad? Bernice says, I will never be successful at anything. Fear of rejection, trust. These are limitations in your mind. They're not who you really are. I want you to think of this fear of failure. I want you to think of this analogy, and this concept, changed my life. We all have the same potential inside of us. We all have this incredible unlimited potential. And think of that if you look outside and you see the blue sky. That is our unlimited potential. We all have the same. And think about these programs that have put into our mind, or the clouds that come over and they block us from seeing the sky. Now, the sky is still there. The reality is that the sky is still there, but because of those clouds, we can't see it. And this happens when you have the incorrect mindset. You start believing these illusions in the mind where every single person on this call, you have the same potential. You have a giant within you that can be released, and you can break through your cocoon and you can do whatever you want. The potential that you have inside of you is infinite. But for a lot of you, you have this cloud covering. Limiting beliefs is just a small part of that. So what happens with these limiting beliefs? It stops us from taking action, and we stop getting the results. Okay, so my two-step process, which I'll teach you tonight, and this is for limiting beliefs, is, okay, so first of all, how do we find it? And it's very simple, sorry. You just think about a goal. So think about some goal you have. Think about whatever it is. It doesn't matter. Do you want to lose weight? Do you want to earn more money? Do you want to find your perfect partner? Whatever it is, just start thinking about it. Start visualizing it. And what resistance comes up? I'll give you an example of me. When I first went through this, I wanted to earn more money. I was quite materialistic. I wanted to earn more money. But when I thought about earning a large amount of money, all this resistance started coming up. One of them was, what if I'm criticized? Another one was, what if I fail? A big one for me was, I was not worthy. I'm not worthy of earning more money. Or I'll have to do something wrong. Or people will judge me. So that's how you find these limiting beliefs, and you get different layers. And tonight we're just going to be covering surface because I don't have the time to go deeper, and you will have different limiting beliefs in different areas of your life, and there'll be different levels of it. So we use different processes to get rid of them. But for the surface ones, This is one of the best things you can do. Just think about something that you want and feel that resistance. Ask yourself the question, what is it that's holding me back? And the answer will come. The answer will come. So that's step one. Then step two is we start a rewiring process. So this particular technique is one of the ones that I use, and it's an affirmation. An affirmation is you saying something to yourself with different tonality and different emotions. Okay, so how we do it is we start at saying, I used to believe, old belief, but now I know that it is. Okay, so let's talk about it. I used to believe what? That if I start a new business, I might fail. But now I know that that is, and then some emotionally charged word, absolute rubbish. You can say something stronger than that if you want. So I used to believe the whole belief, but now I know that that is absolute beep. It is separate from me and not who I truly am now. I now know the truth that there is no such thing as failure, just feedback. I will fail forward. If I make mistakes, I will learn from it and I will get better. That's an example of an empowering belief. This is my new truth and this is my new reality. Okay, now this is where the interesting part comes in. In this particular technique, the first part in red that you're seeing on the screen, you say it in the most silly, outrageous, crazy way possible. When I first learned this and I was using it, I would like jump on one leg speaking like Donald Duck. The crazier, the better. People must want to commit you if they see you. And why that is you want the belief to lose its power. You want to scramble that unconscious. You want to surprise that unconscious by talking about a belief that has a power with you, but saying it in the most ridiculous fashion, jumping up and down, spinning your one arm, saying it like in the craziest voice, so that you muddle up that unconscious mind. That opens it up so that we can replace it with an empowering one. Then when you say the blue part, you go into a certain tone, a certain tonality. And you say, it's separate from me and not who I truly am. I now know the truth that, bang, your new belief, this is my new truth, this is my new reality. And when I did this, I would do it in front of the mirror. And I would do the ridiculous one and would totally use the power, like, oh, what if I fail? You know, literally like in a strange way. And then I would stop and I'd look in the mirror and say, this is my new truth, this is my new reality. And I would have such certainty. And I did it repetitively over a period of time. Just look, a few minutes a day. Now, I want you to think now, what is the limiting belief you're going to use? But a few minutes a day of just saying it over and over in the mirror. And over time, the limiting belief lost its power. And I had rewired the unconscious. And because that limiting belief lost its power, I was then able to take action. Okay. This is the amazing thing about mindset rewiring, and we are just scratching the absolute surface of it. Now, put in the comments column, anybody think that this is of value, this particular technique? What do you think of it? Okay. This is somebody that is a student of mine that I still work with today, and she said, wow, I just had to share this. I feel like you made this lesson absolutely for me. The penny finally dropped. I was so stressed and overwhelmed. I just wanted to give up before your course. She was doing a PhD. And anybody who's done research, I've done it, knows that the frustration and the stress and the fear is incredible. And she was just about to give up on doing a PhD after years. And she did a course that I do, and she said, now I feel like a superstar. Okay, I now know what I want, and I know I'm on my way to getting there. I love this feeling. Amazing. Her name's Fadila, and I got a message from her yesterday saying that something went wrong in her PhD again, and in the past, she would have just fallen apart and got into victim and scarcity and wanted to give it up. But now that she has these tools, she's taken it on the chin, she's giving up. Not giving up. She's taken on the chin. She's getting up and she's resilient. And now I have no shadow of a doubt that she will get this PhD that's been out of her reach for so long. Okay, so remember in the beginning, I said plan for today. It was part one. I was going to talk about mindset rewiring and the process. Plan two is I was going to teach you about limiting beliefs, the 2 steps of removing your unconscious mind. And now we get to the deeper stuff, which is mindset mastery. Okay, this is for the people that want to go a little bit deeper. This is for the people that have come onto this call and have said, okay, I'm actually going to change my life starting today. Not tomorrow, not the next day. I want a life of external success and internal fulfillment. Having external success and not feeling fulfilled, to me, is still a failure. We want both. And mindset mastery is the sweet spot. It's a 3-step strategy which goes deeper. And it's when these three things come together, that's when you unlock the potential that a human being has. This is what I was taught by my mentor. This is what changed everything for me, was this 3-step strategy of first defining exactly what it is that you want, and then getting all the tools that you need to not only start that journey, but to go through all the amazing ups and downs until you reach your destiny. Okay. Well, let's go past. Okay, so mindset mastery. It's made up of 3 steps. Step 1 is you must clarify what your purpose and what your vision is. So if you think, if you're in this space now and you want to go somewhere else, the first thing you need to do is you need to clarify what that is. So you've got to clarify what your purpose is. Everybody has one. You might not think you have one, but you have one. You have a purpose. You have a mission. Everybody has a mission here. And you must have a vision. You must have an idea in your mind of what it is that you want. And the clearer it is, the more powerful it is. Because this is how we prepare for our journey, is that we figure out what our mission is. You connect to that purpose. And you also figure out what it is that you want. Because you can have anything. But you've got to know what you want. And you've got to know that it's authentic to you. Step 2 is we've got to conquer the limitations and the fears in our minds. Okay, limiting beliefs is a small part of that. And then number 3 is you've got to get the toolkit that's going to get you to consistently take action. Because otherwise what will happen is you'll have this vision in your mind, but you either won't take the first step or you'll take a few. And then when you come up against a challenge, you'll go straight back to the comfort zone. So you've got to know what you want. You've got to break through the limitations in your mind so that you can unleash the highest version of yourself, the true version of yourself. And then you've got to develop the toolkit that will take you along the way. And this process is what I call mindset mastery. Okay. So step 1, purpose, dream, or vision. You've got to identify your purpose. You've got to clarify your dream. You've got to clarify your goals. You've got to create a crystal clear picture in your mind. So that's how you prepare yourself for your journey. Step 2, overcome your fears. I've seen in the comments a lot of people talking about fear of change, fear of failure. Some of you listening to me right now, it might even bring up some fear. Like, can I even do this? That's all normal that comes up. You've got to find the limiting beliefs in different parts of your mind and at different layers. You've got to remove them and you've got to replace them with empowering beliefs. Okay, and then step 3, now we start with the tools. Okay, so number 1 is you've got to be able to master your emotional state. So I was taught this. For me, this was the principle that changed the quality of my life initially, because I was always in scarcity. By the way, I'm going to teach you how to do it, or I'm going to tell you how to do it in a little bit. So if you're interested in changing all of these things, I'm going to tell you how to do it. I was always in scarcity, always in lack, always in what if, always in anxiety, always in tension. And that was my default. That was my personality. And when I was taught on how to master my emotional state, I had a tool to break out of it. So when things got tough and I went into that anxiety and I went into that fear, what used to happen is I would just stay there. And that would change the way I react. It would change the way I dealt with people. It was an absolute mess. Then I was taught how to master that emotional state. So now I have the ability to change my emotional state like that. So just before I came on this call, there was stuff going on. The kids were fighting and they didn't want to go to bed, and there was stress and tension. There was stuff happening at work, and I came into the room, and because I knew how to do this, just within a few seconds, I changed my emotional state. And I got calm, and I got clear, and I got authentic, so I could give you this information. The second thing you're going to do is you're going to connect to your inner wisdom. Okay, so we have two areas of wisdom, really. We have the mind, which is the logic, and it's the intelligence. But then we have the heart. And the heart is connected to your inner wisdom, your intuition. And to really unlock your potential, we must know how to use both. Once you know how to use both, and you've got your logic and your intellect, plus you have your intuition, remember, your heart is by design abundant. So connecting to that is incredible. You've also then got to know how to deal with challenges, because this is the reality. You will face challenges. Even if you work with someone that's a mentor, you will face challenges. That's part of the journey. It's part of the process. But we've got to develop. Imagine if you developed some frameworks in your mind that every time you came up against a challenge, you would immediately start looking for a creative solution. So instead of stressing, instead of panicking, you would find a creative solution and you would break through that challenge. And then lastly, it's about aligning your values. So I don't have a huge amount of time to go through the details of this, but I would say this is also the thing that created the most impact in my life, was identifying what my authentic values are. What are my most important needs in my life? Looking at the hierarchy. So what we can do is we put it in a hierarchy, and then we ask ourselves, are those needs in alignment with the goals that we want? Because if they're not, if your values are not in complete alignment with your goals, you will self-sabotage. And you will feel frustrated for the rest of your life, because you will consciously want something, but the unconscious mind will sabotage because it's not in alignment with your values. So what I did is I went through a process where I not only found out what my values were, it was a big surprise to me, but also I found out what order they were in, what hierarchy of importance, and I saw that there was a gap. They weren't lined up. And that's why, one of the reasons why I was sabotaging myself, is also one of the reasons why, even though I was having a certain amount of success in my life, I never felt successful. And that's torturous. If you're working hard and you're working to create something and you're doing pretty well at it, but you never feel successful and you feel like a failure and you never feel fulfilled, that's torture, because you're trying your best to do something and you get there and you don't feel the way that you thought you would feel. And I see this with a lot of people, and you don't see that on Instagram, and you don't see that on Facebook. You see these pictures of people on holidays and they look great and they look happy, and you're thinking to yourself, yeah, but why isn't my life like that? Why don't I have it all worked out like that person? I'm here to tell you that some of them, maybe a lot of them, on the outside look successful, but on the inside they feel like something's missing, just like you. And one of the reasons why that is happening is they haven't understood what their values are, and they haven't understood if they're in alignment with their goals. So they get to their goals and they're like, I don't feel the way that I thought I would feel. And that's why I say in mindset mastery, the true secret in mindset mastery is it's about achieving outside success. Yes, build a business, get the partner, get healthy, lose weight, absolutely. But don't get there without feeling truly fulfilled internally. When you hit that sweet spot of mindset mastery, you get both. You get the external success and the internal level of satisfaction. And for me, that is the secret, and that is what the 1% understands. The 1% of the population that seems to have it all. Sometimes that's happened by accident for them, but that's very rare. Most of the time, something has happened for them to get to that realization. Okay, so how are you feeling about all of this? Now, I know in a short webinar, I don't have a huge amount of time to go through details about everything, but I've told you a little bit about what's possible for you. And, everybody on this call has unlimited potential inside of you. You just don't know it yet. You just don't know it yet. But are you feeling excited? Are you feeling hopeful? Does it inspire you at all? Are you feeling a bit more determined? Or are you feeling a little bit stressed? Are you feeling a little bit overwhelmed? Does even the thought of this stuff, make you tense? Because that's okay. When I first met my mentor and we started talking about you're going to define your purpose, I was quite nervous about that. And I think it's that fear of change, that fear of like, what if things are different? The brain doesn't like change. So if you are feeling a little bit stressed, I want you to know that it's okay. And for those of you that are sitting there right now and you've said, right, I've now made this decision. My life is going to change today, not tomorrow, today. And you want somebody to guide you, or you want somebody to help you, and you want somebody to take you step by step through the process. I've got an opportunity for you. I've got an amazing opportunity for you to get the details and access to the step-by-step strategies that I was taught by my mentor directly from me. So I'll not only teach you all of this stuff in detail and teach you how to apply it in your life, but I will also act as your digital mentor in the background to make sure that as you come up against any roadblocks or any challenges, that you are still able to make it. So is there anybody on this call that is ready to take action right now, and that tomorrow is going to be the first day of the new era in your life? Just tell me in the comments column, who is ready for this? Who is going to take that step? Okay, so the Mindset Mastery, it's an 8-lesson digital course that I've created. And what it does is it goes through those 3 steps, and in those 3 steps are 8 lessons. Okay, so let's talk about it. Who is this for first? You want more, but you're not exactly sure what it is. So if you're wondering if this course is for you, you want more, but you're not exactly sure what it is. So you have this dream, but you're a little bit fuzzy still. Or you know what your dream is, but you don't know how to get there. You either don't know how to get there, or you fear taking the first step. So number 1 is that you want more, there's a gap between where you are now and where you want to be, but you're not sure exactly what you want. Number 2 is that you have a dream. Maybe you want to start a business. Maybe you want to go climb the corporate ladder. Maybe you want to get married. Maybe you want to have children. Maybe you want to lose weight, but you just don't know how to get there. And in fact, taking the steps to get there is completely overwhelming to you. Okay. Or you've had some success, but you still don't feel fulfilled. Okay, now, I've had all 3 of those. Okay, but if any of them speak to you, then this course was designed for you. Okay, and if you don't want to do it alone, why I put that in is, I got to that point where I was like, I can't do this alone. I'm not going to read another book. I'm not going to go on another YouTube clip. I just need guidance from someone who knows what he's talking about. I need guidance from someone who knows what he's talking about. I want somebody that if I come up against a challenge, I can email them, or I can send them a message or something and just say, listen, this is the problem that I have. Can you please help me? And I wanted to be part of a community of people that are like-minded. And this is so important, is being in a community of people that are on the same path as you, that you can bounce ideas off of. So who does that sound good to? Does that sound good? Okay, I hope so. Previous students, this is Monica, who went through a Mindset Mastery, and she said, no other course has inspired me to take action like this one. It has had a profound effect on my personal and my professional life. Okay, so this is how it'll work. So Mindset Mastery, it's 8 lessons. It's all done digitally. It's all done online. And we've got the 3 steps, and there are the 8 lessons. So lesson 1 of step 1 will be purpose. We're going to figure out what your purpose is, and we're going to find out what it is. Step 2 will be your vision and your dream. We're going to clarify exactly what your vision and dream is. Number 3 is I'm going to teach you the art of intentional creation. That is my manifesting technique that I learned that completely transformed things for me. Then we're going to go into step 2 of how to overcome your fears and how to conquer your limiting beliefs. We'll go deeper into limiting beliefs. We're also going to talk to you about the fears, fear of change, fear of failure. Then we'll go into step 3. I'm going to teach you the technique of how to master your emotional state. So imagine being able to change your emotions and choose the emotion that you want. I'll teach you how to connect with the real you, connect to your heart, your inner intuition, so that you want to make decisions. You have access to the source of all knowledge, so you know that you're making correct decisions. I'm also going to teach you how to deal with challenges, not only the challenges that are coming up, but the challenges of your past. Because a lot of us need to let go of the past. Is there anybody that is speaking to? Would you like to know how to let go of the past, reframe it so it takes the power away? And would you like to deal with the challenges of the future in a creative, resilient, and resourceful way? I will teach you how to do that. And then I will teach you how to figure out what your values are. I would figure out how to find out the hierarchy of your values and reorder them so that they're in alignment with your goals. And then things start happening automatically. What I mean by that is once you have gone through this process, your unconscious mind, the counter intentions that are blocking you, get removed from the unconscious mind. And instead of you having the biggest enemy, it becomes your greatest ally. And you start taking action automatically. Things start drawing towards you. The people and the circumstances that you need to fulfill your destiny start coming into your life. And look, in this 3-step process, I'm not saying it's going to fall in your lap. It will take a little bit of your time. It will take a little bit of effort. It will take courage right now to make the decision to go through this. But boy, is it worth it. Okay, what I also did in the program, so I've created these 8 lessons, but I also created action guides within them. And why I did that was I wanted to make sure that there was no room for error. So all you have to do is you have to watch the videos, which get sent to you, and then you have an action guide that sets you up for success. So you go through the pages and you write down everything. And if you watch the videos and if you do the exercises, you will have change. Very, very simple. So it makes it easy for you. It's clear. There's no, what should I do? Should I do this? Should I do that? So that's what the action guides are for. So there are 8 of them. Okay. You will also then join a private Facebook mastermind group. This group is only for people that are on this course. So they're either previous or they're currently through it. And you have direct access to me. So this in itself is incredibly powerful because I've been through this myself and I've worked with many, many people in the same situation as you, and they will be part of that community as well. So you can ask questions directly to me on Facebook through private messenger or on the wall. And what will also happen is other people in the group will talk to you as well. So we form this community of people that are looking to unleash the highest version of ourselves. Okay, so that's the Facebook community. Incredibly powerful. This is Malika, who did the course, and she was somebody who lived in scarcity. And what I mean by scarcity is that she was in fear, she was in tension, she was constantly tense. She was a doctor, worked in the public sector. She is a doctor. And the stress from work was affecting her in her private life. Who understands that? When you take your work home and you are constantly feeling like a victim, you're constantly tense, you're constantly anxious. And just a couple of weeks into the course, she sent me this and she said, I feel so much more relaxed. I don't react as much. And I'm engaging with my family instead of feeling annoyed with them after a day at work. I have so much more resilience to stress and I feel present and I feel abundant. Thank you. That for me is why I do this. to take somebody who was struggling with their stress and their anxiety and their tension, felt like there was a cocoon around them. And now that we've broken that emotional state of scarcity, we're now starting to talk about her dream. And I'm in the process now of assisting her in defining what her dream is so that we can go get it for her. Okay, so what you get when you enroll is you get the lifetime access to all training. So what's also great about it is you have the videos for life. So you can watch them over and over and over again. You also get 8 fill-in-the-blank action guides. So that's to make sure that you go through the processes correctly. It's 100% online. So when you get the videos, you can watch it on your phone, you can watch it on a computer, you can watch it in your bedroom, in your bathroom, and you have access to them 24/7. You have unlimited email support from me personally. I've got a student, you'll meet her in a minute or two, that sends me these beautiful long emails. I answer every single one because that's what I'm here for. Okay, so unlimited. So I will act as your digital coach. And then you get the private Facebook mastermind group. Okay, so let's talk about what it all includes. Oh yes, let's talk about bonuses. I almost forgot. I'm adding in stuff as well to make it better for you. So bonus number one is I'm going to give you 2 of my favorite books on ebook. The Science of Getting Rich. This is for people that have issues around money. So if you have issues around the mindset and money, this is one of the best books I've ever read on the subject. The other one is As a Man Thinketh. Also one of the best books I've seen on the mind. So I'll give you both of these books as one of the bonuses. I'll send it to you. Bonus number 2 is I'm going to give you a training on how to conquer fears. So this is a specific training on fears. Because what will happen is as you start going towards your dream, as you get closer to your destiny, fear will come up. That's normal. But in this book, I give you a step-by-step strategy of how to identify what the fear is and how to conquer it. Okay, great. What's next? So we have bonus number 3, morning and evening meditations. So this is to rewire the unconscious while you sleep. Okay, so I'll send you 2 meditations. This is from 2 masters of meditation. And what I'm doing here is I want to, even as you are going to sleep and as you're waking up, I want to put some beliefs in the unconscious mind. I want to change you into an abundant mindset. What's amazing about these meditations is it requires no effort. All you've got to do is lie there, put it on, and it reprograms your brain automatically. So you'll have 1 in the morning, 1 in the evening, and they take a couple of minutes. So I will send you those 2 meditations. Bonus number 4 is a maintenance plan that I'll send you. So what I mean by that is one of the issues I've always had with digital courses and with self-development in general is that they give you something, but there's nothing to help you to maintain it. So what I'm going to do is I created a workbook to make sure that the changes that happen during the course are maintained afterwards, and you use that for life. So this is your toolkit. That's your toolkit that you will use forever. In 10 years' time, you'll go back to this and you'll have the videos and you'll have the maintenance plan to reset you should you require it. This is Peter who went through it. He says, you've not only helped me to feel successful and content with what I have, but given me action steps to take my life to the next level. So with him, his issue was he was pretty successful, but he didn't feel successful. So we set him free from that first. And once we set him free from that, his business started to take off, his marriage started to take off, and his health started to take off. Okay, so for the action takers, okay, we're going to get to exactly how you can get the course in just 1 second. I added this now as well. For the action takers that are going to take action in the next 10 to 15 minutes, I will also add in a free 30-minute Skype session with me one-on-one. Okay, that is really important, and I will discuss the specific challenges and goals that you have and how to best get the results from the course. I can only do that for 10 people because I don't have the time to do it for more. So if you're ready to take action and you are going to do it in the next 10 minutes, you will get this free strategy session with me. Just that in itself can shift things for you, and I'm really excited for that, but it will only be for 10 people. Okay, so let's look at all the details. Okay, so the 8-week online course, from a value point of view, the 8-week online course, the value of it is 5,000 Rand. The 8 fill-in-the-blank action guides, the ebook training on fears, the private mastermind. What that is, it's access to the private Facebook group, the direct access to me. So that will be sending me emails and messages day or night. If I'm awake, I will answer them. And then the free strategy call, the normal fee for a 30-minute strategy call with me is 2,500 Rand. And for the first 10 people, that'll be absolutely free. So from a value point of view, 14,500 Rand. Let me ask you this. If all it did was remove the blockages in your mind and made you take action, would it be worth that over a lifetime? I think so. But I'm not going to charge 14,500 Rand because not everybody can afford that. So I've got an opportunity for people that are on this call tonight. I just quickly want to go through a summary again of the bonuses, the 2 ebooks, the PDF on Conquers Fears, the morning and evening meditations, and the maintenance plan. So we put it all together. We've got the top there, the 8-week course, fill in the blanks, all the value of 14,500, plus all the bonuses. For those people that want to take this opportunity and are going to start changing their lives today, the fee is 2,990 Rand. So I've taken all the problems out. What I mean by that is I've dropped the fee to as much as I possibly can, and what I've added in is a 30-day money-back guarantee. So what do I mean by that? My value is that I over-deliver in what I do. And what I mean by that is if you feel that the course is not worth the money within 30 days of taking it, you get 100% of your money back. No questions asked. You would have had a lot of the lessons. You would have seen them. You would have had the workbooks. But if you send me a one-line email and you say, look, this is not for me. I don't think it will work. It's not working out. I won't ask you why. I'll just give you the refund. And why? Because this holds me accountable. It holds me accountable to give value. So there's absolutely no risk. Because if you purchase the course and you decide within 30 days that you don't want it, you get the full money back guarantee, and you would have seen a lot of the course by then. So there's nothing, if you are ready, the only thing holding you back now will be fear. And I know for some of you, you'll feel it. And if it's fear of failure, the only way you can fail is if you don't start something or you don't finish it. As long as you start and long as you finish it, there's no such thing as failure. So 2,990 Rand, I'm going to put it in the chat column now. You'll see it come up. So I'm going to publish it. You should see it in the chat column. You can click on the buy now to get in, especially the first 10 people. Also, you can go to this website, so www.drrobertdelgado.com/AOF. If you don't want to buy it through this link on the right, most people do. But if you don't want to, you can open another tab. So you go onto another tab on your browser, and you type in www.drrobertdelgado.com/AOF. So there's 2 ways you can do it. One will be through the offer that you're seeing in the chat now, and the other one will be through that website. And then when you do that, you'll come up to, I want to go past this, you come up to a page like this. And you'll see my little face, and you'll see that little blue thing. You click on there, and that's how you can purchase the course. It's through PayFast, so it's South African. I want to tell you about Darren while we're waiting. I was a little bit concerned about investing in a coaching course because the results are not guaranteed. But as the saying goes, change nothing and nothing changes. I'm so glad I took action. And what happened with him was, he's in a corporate job, but his dream was to uplift his photography. So he went through the course, and this he sent to me the last week. He said, in the last 2 weeks, I was selected as a finalist in the photographic competition. I shot a celebrity magazine cover, and I was contacted by Harper's Bazaar to feature my work. So he is now living his dream. And all he had to do was take action. He still has his corporate job, by the way. So he didn't have to give up his corporate job and completely leave everything and go into the unknown. He just had to get the right mindset, and he had to get himself to stop procrastinating and start taking action. And now his dream is starting to come to fruition. Okay, so there's the website, drrobertdelgado.com/AOF. And I'm going to end off with this, which is one of my favorite students. Her name's Ali. I really want you to listen to this. She said, "I'm looking at my future with excitement. You couldn't have gotten that sentence out of me a few months ago, not even at gunpoint. I used to live a charmed life, but then I got hit real hard. One that had me wishing that the universe would call my name from your time is up list. I was beginning to tell the sad story of how my life was going to be, one of scarcity and one full of fears. This course has come as a huge blessing. I'm gobsmacked at how many things are suddenly showing up in my life that aligns with my life's purpose. I'm giving myself permission to dream so big it is breathtaking." Okay, and that's Ali, who lives up in the UK. And she's the one that sends me the long emails. And to see somebody go from that struggle and actually start seeing the light and start taking action towards that light, it's an amazing blessing to me to be part of that. So any questions? I'm going to go to the chat column again. What is the total of Catherine? What is the total fee? Catherine is in. That's great. Patricia needs that. Any questions, any challenges, put in the chat column. I'm going to be here for another few minutes. There's the website for the people that want to have by the way, the people that purchase in the next